Hi everybody, in this video I would like to walk you through a few updates I made to CrochetPARADE. So the first one I want to show you is has to do with highlighting different labels in CrochetPARADE. So what's the point of label? So let's say you want to do the following. Um, let's say you want to do 9 chains and then turn and then chain, skip one uh, stitch, crochet, do 3 single crochets, then do a double crochet, 4 single crochets, and then turn. And then let's say you want to do 6 chains and then single crochet in the double crochet over here. Now you can figure out which stitch this is. This is stitch 0, counting starts from 0. This is 3 single crochets, so from 0 to 3. This is the 4th stitch, so you could do something like -1 4. Okay, let's see if that works. I just want to make sure. Yep, it seems like here are the 3 chains, the 6 chains, and then there is a single crochet here in the double crochet, which is taller. The -1 tells you you need to attach to the previous row. Okay, another way of doing the same thing, you could do find the double crochet stitch in the previous row and find the first double crochet stitch in the previous row. Okay, so let's try to do the same thing. There it works. But what if you have a bunch of double crochets and you don't want to be counting which double crochet we're talking about? You can just put a label here. It's like putting a stitch marker. So this is how you put a label, dot, and then some name of a label. I'm just going to place A here. Then you can just single crochet at that location. Bam. There you go. Now, what I'm going to do next is I want to do 4 single crochets and then turn. And let's see. After that, I want to do, let's say, a chain and a skip and 3 single crochets. Let's see what this looks like. Here it is. This is the foundation row. A bunch of single crochets, double crochets, single crochets, our long chain here of with the large chain space, a bunch of single crochets. We turned again 3 single crochets. Now what I want to do next is I want to do 18 double crochets in this chain space here. Okay, now the problem is there are only 6 single crochets. So how do I fit in the 18 double crochets in this space? Well, one way to do it is to label these 6 chains with some label, and I'm going to put a descriptive label, let's say chain space, and whoops, I need to create the label, not attached to that, and I'm going to attach my 18 double crochets to that chain space. Ta-da! There they are. And so let's look at this. Now, with more complicated projects, you might need to use a lot of labels. And at some point, you may lose track of which label is which. Okay, so let me rotate the project a little bit. So one thing you might want to do is you want to be able to find which stitches are labeled with chain space. So this is all standard CrochetPARADE stuff. And so far, nothing has been new. Now let me show you the new thing. And I'm gonna actually turn on the keyboard indicator here. Here up here in the screen, you're gonna see what I'm pressing. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Control D, and that immediately shows me once I click on the 3D canvas. Allows me to select a stitch label or collection of labels, if any, for highlighting. Okay, we'll talk about what collection of labels is in a minute. So let's pick label A. It finds all the labels in the project. So this is label A. This is the double crochet. This is the V part of the double crochet on top, and this is the post of the double crochet. So it highlights the whole stitch. And you can see our single crochet over here. Let's zoom in. The single crochet that we used, here it is, the single crochet that attached to label A is attached to this yellow stitch. And the yellow stitch, you can immediately see it's the double crochet because it's taller. So that's label A. Now, how about the chain space? There is the chain space. You can see immediately where it is. It highlights the whole sequence of chains. Now, starting from here, this is what leads to the first chain and so on. Now you might wonder, well, why is this not highlighted? Well, this is the part, the V of the single crochet that follows the chain space. Now you might not like how the double crochets are distributed in this chain space, so you may want to spread the double crochets all the way to the edges. The way you do that, if you guys are reading, like reading manuals, you do something like this. Add a couple of modifiers, and there they are. The double crochets are distributed almost to the edge of the chain space. If you guys want to learn more, you can read about the plus and the exclamation mark modifiers in the manual. How do you find the manual? Help, manual, and you can search here for let's say exclamation mark. There you are, skipping border stitches of groups and adding edge stitches to the group with pluses and all kinds of modifiers here to labels that you can read about. Anyway, so this is the new thing. Now, I want to show you how this is used in different, or I want to show you how different labels appear in different projects that I've worked on here, that I've included as examples. So this is the Irish Crochet Flower 1. I'm going to press Ctrl D, and let's see. First I want to see the ring. That's the first ring here, the 6 chain ring, and as you can see, it's highlighted immediately in the middle. This is ring 1. There it is, ring 1. This is the next ring. And then we have a bunch of chain spaces. This chain space, that chain space. I'm just going to go around the circle. Oops. So the 0 in the chain space, it was completely irrelevant. I didn't have to add the 0 here. Now the commas, the integer after the commas comes from this definition here. So C initially is initialized as 0, that variable, and whenever you call it C++, means increment C by 1, okay? And you do that 8 times because the whole sequence here is multiplied 8 times. So there are 8 chain spaces, each one labeled with chain space 0, 0, 0, 1, and so on. Now, what if you want to see all the chain spaces? In other words, the collection of all these labels. Well, you can do this. Okay, so up here you see collection of labels, if there are any, where the code collects all of these labels with integer values in square parentheses, and you can label them. Now, this won't be any different because there is no chain space, which is, let's say, 1, 0. So they're all the same collection. All right, let's try the next one. Here we have the booty. All right, so these are these stitches here. Let's see, let's find them. Yep, these are the stitches in the first loop around the foundation chain. Then we have R in square brackets, All right, so this is where the cuff will attach. So this is the top ring. Let's find it. Here we're attaching to it. There it is. This is the definition of the ring. And we have X. What is X? I have no recollection here. Let's see. Oh, I guess this is the last stitch that attaches before sewing the project. Okay. All right, let's see what this is. This is the Irish flowers, and there are a ton of labels here. Let's go over them. So these are collection of labels. There are many different collections, so we're gonna go over them. First, let's start with the base. All right, so base 0. This is this fella. I hope you guys can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. Base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we go to base 1, 0. Remember, base 0, 0. These are the labels that go in the inner circle and the inner posts, and then suddenly we have labels for the outer posts that go around the petal, around the base. Okay. Okay, so let's collect them all. All right, so here the code collects all base stitches. The base stitches that start with 0, these are the inner circle. The base stitches that start with 1. Okay, so in a crochet project, it might say, well, connect to the next, whatever this is, connect to the next single crochet between the chains. So this is, here is a, oh my goodness, I'm going to stop the label by pressing I. So here is a chain. And then a single crochet and another chain, and on the outer side we connect to the chain space here. So in the project, as you're reading it, it may say, well, do whatever stitch this is to the single crochet between the chain spaces. So this is very nicely described in English, but how do you tell the code to do that? Well, again, you do that with these labels. It's just an easy way to do it. All right, let's see what else we have here. Again, there are different collections here of stitches. So this is all this is the collection of labels, which is base, whatever is the placeholder here. So the space that you see here contains an integer, or it's a placeholder for any number that goes there. So it will contain labels 0, 0, and 1, 0 in this case, because these are the labels that we have in the stitch. Here it is 0, 0, and 1, 0. And if you remember, 0, 0 was the inner post here, and 1, 0 was the outer post. And if you go around the loop, it will highlight those collections of labels. Okay, let's move on to the chain space here. Okay, so cool. This is all the chain spaces on this flower. Again, they're collected in one. Let's see the individual ones. So this is the first one, or the 0th one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. All right. Now I can orient myself much better in the project. Then we have chain spaces that come with two indices. Let's find those. They're in the next flower over here. So this is chain space 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and so on. And then the next one, remember these are 0, comma something. The next ones are on the outer rim, or on the outer set of petals. So these are 1, 0, 1, 1, and so on. And then we have the outermost set of petals, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, and so on. All right, all these are collected over here, of course, as before. Chain space with placeholder, comma placeholder, highlights everybody. These are just the zeros after the comma. These are the comma ones, the comma twos, so they're in the radio direction. These are 0, comma something, all right, 0, comma 0, 0, comma 1, and so on. So you can see the innermost loop here, then the next one, then the outermost loop. They're all highlighted in these ways. All right, what other things have been highlighted? All right, we have another set of chain spaces. So these are the chain spaces in the leaf here. Chain space A. We go around the loop, and then there is some end somewhere, which I actually don't care about right now to show you. Here them all. You can see them, all these chain spaces highlighted. Again, they're collected. And we have some petal here. Oh, okay, that's this fellow. Okay, what else do we have here? All right, so this is a granny square. Let's see what's highlighted here. So these are all the chain spaces on the inner loop. These are the chain spaces on the outer rim. And then in the project, if you write it in normal English, you might say, okay, attach the next stitch here to the tip of the sleeve. Okay, well, again, how do you tell the code to attach to the tip? You can create a label. All right, on the treble stitch, which is highlighted in yellow, I'm going to put a label tip. So these are all the tips that are highlighted. And because I have here this variable, that variable increases every time this line is copied how many times, however is the number of leaves. So there is this increment operator which tells that t initially is 0, and then it increases to 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the tips have their own number. So this is tip 0, tip 1. Okay, they go this way. Tip 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Okay, and then we have the the outer ring and the inner ring as well of stitches. All right, let's see what is the next project. Okay, so here it's a lot of fun. There are a ton of chain spaces. All of them are highlighted. Let me show you all the chain spaces individually. So this is the chain space over here. I hope you can see it in yellow. And then as we go through the chain space labels, we can see that they go left and right in the direction of crocheting. And we can collect, or we can highlight all of them that carry label something, comma 0. Now you might wonder why they're on the left and on the right. The reason is we go in two different directions. So this would be, let's say, label 11.0, as you can see here in the over here. This is 11.0, and here over here we have, whoops, wrong one. Oh yeah, 12.0. Okay, so when we're going this way, or one way in the blanket, this is the 0 here, and then when we go the other way, this is the 0. Okay, so let's see. As you can see, they go inwards and then outwards. Alrighty, and here are the rows. So these are the 0 chain spaces, or the 0 row chain spaces, then the first row chain spaces, and so on. So again, I find it pretty neat because it helps me figure out where all my labels are. Another one here, if you're wondering, yes, I'm going to go through most of my projects. Okay, I'm just going to browse through different labels just so you can see them. And here's some tips again. Tips of the leaves, I mean. And here is the Irish crochet doily, which is pretty insanely complicated in terms of both coding and actual crocheting. So we have all kinds of chain spaces and sets of stitches in which one has to crochet, and they are highlighted as you can see. Okay, and of course you can go through the individual labels as well, and they're all somewhere here in the code. All right, so again, Control D allows you to pick up those labels. What else is new? Let's see, I'm trying to remember, it's been a while. Okay, another thing we can do is, well, I don't know if I mentioned this, but in the original, if you press escape, by the way, it resets all the all the yellow stitches are reset to their normal colors. If you press Control F, this is the original code, you can actually highlight individual stitches that don't have labels. So something on the third round or third row, whatever you want to call it, fourth stitch, there it is. So that's, again, here it is right here. That's if you want to find an individual stitch. Or if you want to highlight an individual row, you can do something like, okay, highlight the fourth row here. Bam, all of them are highlighted on the fourth row. Where 4 again is when you count from 0. All right, what else? All right, so we have, we have the snowman. This is a different update, a previous update that I did. I did a video for it, but I did change a few things. I'm going to remove these transform object thing, parts of the code. Let me run it. So you guys should watch that video first, where I announce object rotation and transformation, which is useful for amigurumis. But here's something I added. So here, when you select different parts of the snowman, the different balls that are part of the snowman, you can move them. Let me just move the middle ball. I'm gonna turn on the guiding plane. All right, so this rod that is sticking out from the plane is the vertical, or the line perpendicular to the plane. Here you can move this ball, let's say, down over here, and everything is a mirror image because I'm looking from the other side of the plane. So let's attach it. Okay, I'm not going to do a great job here, but I'm just going to place it somewhat in the right location. I'm going to select the next object, which is the head of the snowman. And you're going to see why I'm doing all this again as a video in a second, because I did some changes, which hopefully will help people. All right, so this is the snowman. Let's see it again. Oh boy. All right, so here it is. And it's upside down. I'm not going to worry about the upside down part. All right, so here it is. I'm going to turn on the colors, and you realize, oh, the head of the snowman is not attached correctly. And then you turn on rotation, and you might say, okay, I want to rotate around the green axis. This is green, so I'm going to go left, right. Oh, let's say I want to face that way. Fantastic. And now, let's see. I want to rotate around the red axis to orient the fella this way. Okay, but now it's sort of looking down, inwards, all right? To lift the head of the snowman, we need to do rotation both around the blue and the green axis, which is pretty annoying if you want to coordinate it. So you might want to pick a rotation order. So pick one of these that actually makes sense to you in terms of axis of rotation. So let's see. Actually, wait, this is the original. Okay, blue. The blue axis is reasonable. I'm going to rotate around the blue axis now. Bam. And now I oriented the snowman more or less in the direction I wanted. Now I want to center the eyes, so I may want to pick a different axis here. Order rotations. No, I don't like this one. Oh, red looks good. So I'm going to rotate around the red axis a little bit. There you go. Okay, so again, this is one way to rotate things. What else was, and place things in the locations you want. I'm going to switch off the axes. If you guys want to add it to the instructions, you click on write to instructions, bam. And next time you share the instructions, the snowman will be in the orientation and position. The different parts will be in the orientation and positions that you see here. So these transformations immediately will apply the transformations we just did if you just share this text file. Okay, all right, what else? One thing I did quite a while back is I actually added a list of available stitches. This is something that I kept thinking, oh, I should do that, and I kept forgetting. So if you guys are wondering, how do I do an increase or a decrease? You go here and you find, okay, so increases are done this way, decreases are done this way. So let's say you want to do a single crochet to increase, you do SC to increase, and if you want to do a decrease, you do single crochet 2 stitches together. Alrighty, let's do it. Oh, the forum. I created a forum for our Crochet Parade. So guys, here you can ask questions. You can see a bunch of people have asked some questions here. You can hopefully share some ideas that you've had, or I found something online. I found a couple of projects online that use Crochet Parade, and I just posted links to those, which I find pretty cool. Here I'm going to post updates when I remember to do that to Crochet Parade. And again, guys, you can just ask questions. If I can't answer, I don't have the time to answer, maybe someone else will chip in if they know what's going on. All right, so we have the forum, list of available stitches. I'm just going through the things that I included. Oh, perspective, right. One more thing. This will be the last thing, I think. Which one do I want to show you? All right, I'm going to show you this one. Flowers. Let's wait for it. There they are. All right, guys, so for these flowers, actually I'm going to switch to Firefox here. You know what? I'm going to switch to Firefox because I find Firefox much more reasonable in the way it saves files. So this is my Firefox browser. Crochet Parade. Here it is. Okay, let's wait. All right. So, guys, you can save this as an SVG file. So Crochet Parade can now export standard crochet patterns. Here you can see it even in 3 dimensions, which is, I don't know how useful it is. I find it pretty cool just to look at it. I find it fun. Now, you may see that this crochet diagram doesn't look exactly like what you see here. And the reason is it's using orthographic. Here I'm using orthographic projection. And whereas here I'm using perspective projection. So before you couldn't export the stitches in perspective projection, and now you can. This is what you do. You just input a negative number. And if you read the instructions, it says so if size is negative, use perspective projection. So let's try it again. And once it's done computing, it's sort of in the it's weird because the bounding box is not right for the SVG, but you can always edit it in Inkscape. But here it is. You can see this flower's orientation now matches this flower's orientation. Oops, here it is. They're the same thingy. Whereas here, this flower up here wasn't oriented the same way. Okay, so we can do perspective orientation. I want to show you one more thing. Baby booty. Let's run it. And this is the last piece of news. All right, so here it is. Now, guys, imagine you want to export the diagram, the crochet diagram. You can press O, and if you press O, which is what I did, after you click on the 3D canvas, it will ask you to do the usual input a resolution, let's say 600, and say, okay, save it. And it saves the file. Let's open it up. Here it is. Now, if you press O again, and then O again, maybe you notice the project starts turning a little bit. And every time it turns a little bit, it saves a new diagram. Okay, so let's open one of them. Let's say this one. And you can see these two files correspond to crochet diagrams where the booty is slightly rotated. Now you can use that to animate your 3D diagram, which I actually posted here a video of it. Crochet charts. Here it is for the booty. And this is a little bit of lower quality, but there it is. It's moving around. Much better. You can see it in 3 dimensions if you want to visualize your project. And of course, you can always do the same thing for one-dimensional projects. Let's see, which one do I want? The granny square. Taking a bit. All right, save. I want to do, let's say, 700 pixels of resolution. That changes the thickness of the stitches. Okay, so here it is. It automatically creates the crochet chart just from the instructions. Anyway, these are the latest things here.